All right, and live from the Kenyatta University Communication Center, you are just in time for the Thursday edition of the KUTV Prime Time News on this 31st day of the month of July, the year being 2025, the final day of the month of July. And we have a lot in store for you in matters happening in the country and also beyond our borders. But first, let's take a look at tonight's top stories. President William Ruto calls on religious leaders to foster unity. Interior CES Kipchumba Murkomen fires warning at government security critics. Former Kiambu Governor Ferdinand Waititu released on a 53 million shilling bond. A warm welcome to the broadcast that is also streaming live on our YouTube platform at KUTV News Kenya, and also you can be able to reach us out at our X platform on KUTV_Kenya and reach me out at _Emmanuel Kutosi. In the sign language interpretation, will be sailing through with Sami Okelo. Now, President William Ruto has urged religious leaders to promote peace and discourage the rhetoric that could inflame youth unrest, especially amid rising unemployment concerns. Speaking in a meeting at State House, Nairobi, where the head of state met with officials from the Anglican Diocese of Nairobi, led by Bishop Jonathan Kabiru, Ruto called on leaders to unite, seeking lasting solutions to challenges faced by young people, including youth unemployment. Now, Interior Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen has issued a strong warning to critics of government security operations, stating that they will not be intimidated in the line of duty. Murkomen made the remarks during a Jukwaa la Usalama security tour in Laikipia County, where he also took a swipe at Law Society of Kenya for allegedly jumping to the defense of individuals accused of terrorism.
Speaking in Laikipia, Interior Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen criticized the Law Society of Kenya for what he termed as premature defense of terrorism suspects, warning that such actions risk normalizing extremist threats in the country. He urged the LSK to exercise caution and impartiality, especially in matters concerning national security. Murkomen also called on civil society organizations to uphold neutrality when commenting on incidents involving destruction of property, cautioning them against politicizing security issues.
I want to say clearly here to the Law Society of Kenya that first of all, they must not jump into conclusions, and that investigations that we've seen is that these are acts of terror. Charges which have been leveled against these individuals are for terrorism. So it's now up to the court to find them guilty or not. And we do not want them to normalize terror in our country. And we don't want civil society voices that only are one-sided. They do not look at what the citizens are going through. Somebody's supermarket has been burned, police station, all these other places. Yet you will see people only speaking about one side, the perpetrators.
Additionally, Murkomen cautioned former police officers revealing that they will be closely monitored due to suspicions of plotting to destabilize the country under the guise of combating police brutality. This statement came after the arrest of ex-Kenya Defence Forces member Patrick Osoi on Tuesday after launching the Fighting Brutality and Impunity movement, which allegedly seeks to defend victims of extrajudicial killings and support officers punished for resisting illegal orders.
Sikia chochote ambayo inahusikana na mtu yoyote amewahi kufunzwa mambo ya bunduki, mambo ya silaha mbalimbali, tunachukulia hatua zaidi kuliko hata mwananchi wa kawaida, kwa sababu tunajua kwamba anaelewa nini inaendelea katika idara ya polisi, idara ya army, na tunajua kwamba anaweza kutumia nafasi na ile information ako nayo kuharibu taifa.
Other than promising to ensure safety of all businesses across the counties in the country, Murkomen identified banditry as a significant challenge, particularly along the Laikipia North border adjoining Samburu East and Isiolo. He insisted that the government was focused on improving access through road construction and the near completion of the Maliza Uhalifu Command Center in Kirimon.
I have said and I insist here that any person who has organized these acts of terrorism, burning police stations, burning vehicles, burning courts, burning supermarkets, we continue to insist that those are acts of terror. Those people deserve to be charged for acts of terror, to instill fear in the public, and their objective is to make sure that there are no working institutions by burning courts, burning police stations, stealing guns, killing people, burning supermarkets, and we will charge them for what they have done and what they did.
Now, former Kiambu Governor Ferdinand Waititu has been released on a 53 million shilling bond pending the hearing of his appeal. Waititu, who was sentenced in February to 12 years in prison or a 52 million fine of a graft case, was granted bond by the High Court Judge Lucy Njuguna. The judge had previously denied 2 bail applications. Waititu's fresh application included new evidence and grounds. His wife, Susan Ndungu, was fined $500,000 shillings or imprisonment for 1 year. Their co-accused, including directors of the Testimony Enterprises Limited, were also sentenced and fined. The appeal process continues as we await for new updates on the high-profile graft case. Now, the government, through the Ministry of Education, has announced a significant reduction in university fees for academic programs in public institutions. In a letter to vice chancellors and principals of constituent colleges, Higher Education Principal Secretary Beatrice Inyagala said the steps reaffirm the government's commitment to ensuring affordable, accessible, and quality university education in the new revised structure. Programs like medicine, dentistry, veterinary medicine, and pharmacy will cost a minimum of 12,343 shillings and a maximum of 75,000 shillings per semester. We drift to the coastal region where Mombasa human rights activists have raised concerns over recent policy changes by the Tanzanian government that prohibit non-citizens from operating small-scale businesses in the country. The activists describe the move as discriminatory and potentially detrimental to regional integration efforts within the East African community.
Action tayari ishaleta taharuki kule.
Led by Francis Ouma, an officer from Muslim for Human Rights, Human rights groups in Mombasa have voiced their concerns about the policy change by the Tanzanian government, which bans non-citizens from running small businesses across various sectors in the country. They argue that this policy is discriminatory and could undermine efforts to strengthen unity within the East African community.
Tanzania basi ataki Mkenya, ataki maforena.
Ouma criticized the policy, stating that it could negatively affect diplomatic relations between Kenya and Tanzania. He urged President William Ruto to take action, pointing out that while Tanzania is restricting Kenyans, Kenya continues to welcome Tanzanians with open arms.
Tumwambia Rais Ruto, haina haja tulazimishe ndoa hii, haifanyi kazi tena. Mtanzania basi ataki Mkenya, ataki maforena, na tumeishi nao kwa East Africa vizuri miaka nenda miaka rudi. Hapa Mombasa wa Tanzania wengi chungu nzima, wauzaji manjugu, omba barabarani, EPZ, magari mabasi unayaona haya, wengi ni wa Tanzania. Masafa, magari ya masafa, wengi ni wa Tanzania, na tuna kinyongo nao.
Human rights advocate Bradley Ouna warned that the policy violates EAC goals of freedom of movement and trade. Added that if implemented, it could have serious repercussions on business between the two nations.
Jaribu kusema hivi, hiyo action tayari ishaleta taharuki kule. Maana kuna wale sio wa Kenya, lakini najua barua iliandikwa wa Kenya. Kuna hata wale wengine ambao walikuwa wameinvest hizo biashara ndogo, salon, kuuza njegere, kuuza mboga, kuuza nini, wameanza pa kusomesha watoto wao kule. Sasa ukisema watoke kule, wakirudi hivi, watakuwa na kinyongo na Watanzania ambao wako hapa Kenya.
Ms. Uchindoro, a rights advocate from the Kinango Disability Group, appealed directly to President Samia Suluhu, urging her to consider the spirit of unity in the region.
Na Watanzania wakija Mombasa pia wanakuja wanatafuta kujikimu kimaisha. Kwa hivyo Mama Suluhu, sisi wa mama wenzako, kwanza sisi ni watu wezo maalum. Katika hii Kenya yetu ikiwa na vurugu saa zote, sisi wenzenu mnatumakisha, maana hatujui kutanzia wapi na tutamaliziana wapi. Na kuomba mama urudishe roho na uweze kufanya kazi na pande zote mbili.
These policy changes appear to have significant implications for regional cooperation and cross-border trade between Kenya and Tanzania. This move raises several questions regarding equality, human rights, and business relations. Paulette Akoth, KUTV, Nairobi.
Now, Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi joined the Moroccan community in Nairobi to mark the 26th anniversary of King Mohammed VI's ascension to the throne. The event celebrated Morocco's development strides under the monarch and reaffirmed deepening ties between Kenya and Morocco in trade, energy, and regional cooperation.
Speaking on behalf of President William Ruto, the Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi lauded King Mohammed VI's visionary leadership, citing signature infrastructure projects like the Al Burak high-speed train and the Tanga Med Port. He emphasized the strong diplomatic and economic relations binding the two nations.
Our partnership covers areas of trade, education, technology, renewable energy, and people-to-people connections. Kenya greatly values Morocco's continued support in the education sector, particularly through the provision of scholarships to Kenyan students each year.
Mudavadi reaffirmed Kenya's growing partnership with Morocco, celebrating the recent opening of Kenya's embassy in Rabat. Mudavadi also noted the potential for enhanced transport connectivity and private sector engagement, pledging to work closely with Morocco to unlock new opportunities across the continent.
This landmark visit to Morocco culminated in the signing of strategic memoranda of understanding in critical sectors including housing and urban development, trade and investment, youth affairs, foreign service training, and institutional collaboration between Kenya, the Kenya School of Government, and Morocco's National Higher School of Administration.
Morocco's ambassador to Kenya, Abdelrazak Lassil, echoed the sentiments. He highlighted the historical connection dating back to explorer IBN Battuta's 3031 visit, emphasizing Morocco's enduring friendship with Kenya.
The ties between our nations trace back to the courageous journey of the great Moroccan explorer Ibn Battuta, who traveled from Tangier to weaving the first threads of connections between our people. Today, nearly 7 centuries later, we continue to build upon this legacy of friendship and mutual respect.
Ambassador Lassil described the visit as a pivotal moment in Morocco-Kenya ties, based on shared principle and mutual respect. He thanked Kenya for endorsing Morocco's Sahara Autonomy Initiative, emphasizing it as a powerful example of African solidarity and principled foreign policy.
The visit of Your Excellency, Honorable Mudavadi, to Morocco a couple of months ago represents a historic milestone, the first official visit by a Kenyan Prime Cabinet Secretary and Foreign Affairs Cabinet Secretary to our kingdom. This visit symbolized the dawn of the new era in the Morocco-Kenya relations, with on mutual respect, shared values, and common aspiration for African development.
With renewed diplomatic commitments, both countries aim to deepen cooperation across multiple sectors, fostering peace, development, and unity in the region. Edna Nerea, KUTV, Nairobi.
All right, and that report by Edna Nerea brings us to our first break right here on the Thursday edition of the KUTV Prime Time News. My director, Emmanuel says I have a debt to settle. Let me settle it. I'll be back after the break with more.
Na uso wa jamii. Kupanda shuka, akawa tuzo. Ukakamavu wake, ukatii, na kumfanya mwenye bidii. Kwa machozi na makeke, akabaini jinsi ya kuweni. Huyu ni mwanamke ngangari, kwa jinsi alivyo ng'ari-ng'ari. Mimi ni mwanamke mwake. Usikose kutazama kipindi cha mwanamke mwake, nami Caroline Kimwele.
Miti miti, panda panda. Our planet's future is in our hands. However, there is a threat to the brightness of this tomorrow. On Earth Check, we share the challenges, the solutions, and the hope.
I would call this a very momentous day, a very critical day.
Every episode, every story, every step we take creates a ripple. Join me, the environmentalist Emmanuel Kutosi, on KUTV every Wednesday at 8 p.m. and be part of Earth Check. Welcome. Welcome back to the Thursday edition of the KUTV Prime Time News. Of course, I invite you to keep the conversation going on our social media platforms, on the X platform at KUTV_Kenya and on Facebook at KUTV Kenya. Now, the Intergovernmental Authority on Development, that is IGAD, today in Nairobi moved strides towards ensuring food security within the region. Now, today, IGAD was able to launch a parliamentary working group across its 8 member states. That is a move towards addressing the matters that were brought forward within the continental strides towards ensuring food security. The Intergovernmental Authority on Development, IGAD, convened key leaders from its member states of Djibouti, Eritrea, Ethiopia, Kenya, Somalia, South Sudan, Sudan, and Uganda on a mission to forge a resilient path for regional food security amidst climate challenges. Delegates engaged in high-level discussions to strengthen the regional cooperation with a focus of implementing transformative policies for sustainable and inclusive agri-food systems guided by continental frameworks like the Comprehensive Africa Agriculture Development Program (CAD) and the landmark Kampala Declaration.
Juridique, je pourrais pas dire que forum est plus large que groupe.
A stark reality drove the agency, with the 2024 AU Assembly declaring Africa off track to meet the 2025 Malabo food security targets. In response, the Kampala Summit birthed a new CAD strategy for the year 2026 to 2035, demanding a holistic approach linking agriculture, nutrition, and economic development.
On the basis of the 4 sectors of the economy.
The Kampala Declaration sets clear demands, boosting of public investments, especially for smallholder farmers, championing of climate-smart agriculture and sustainable resource use within the strengthening of trade and early warnings, as well as mainstreaming of nutrition and social protection, while ensuring inclusive governance involving women, youth, and the private sector.
So because of the agroecological zone that has shifted and changed, we are not able to do normal conventional agriculture. So it calls for strategic moves to be able to direct our region to a very organized way of ensuring that we cushion our farmers from losses, because we have noted that due to climate change, we are having like post-harvest losses going to 37 and even beyond 40% within the region, which is massive loss. We lose our livestock way before, especially you look at the cross-border regions, the pastoralist communities. Lack of moisture requires them to move long distances that is very strenuous for the livestock, and we end up losing them.
A pivotal outcome is the launch of the IGAD Parliamentarians Working Group on Agri-Food Systems, backed by the World Bank through its support for the Food Systems Resilience Program (FSRP), aims to drive advocacy as well as accountability and policy innovation across the borders.
Our member states are the ones that actually implement most of our strategies. So we normally have a number of strategies at the regional level. We also have country-level strategies. But if we do not work with the government wing, especially the executive, the legislative arm of the government, then most of our policies remain fruitless.
Parliamentarians need to scale up our efforts. That yes, it is another to make a commitment, like all countries committed to be providing 10% of the national budgets, but not any single country in Africa, no single country in the IGAD region has attained this.
The training empowered leaders for distinct roles, with the parliamentarians expected to mobilize funding, support research and infrastructure, as well as enact laws for inclusivity.
Members of parliament, we need to up our tasks, we need to lobby colleagues, we need to influence the sub-region to be looking at addressing the challenges that are affecting the agriculture sector.
As ambassadors on their end, champion for regional coordination, advocate for climate financing, and facilitate resilient partnerships.
Excited that this will be such an opportunity to enable us train more, speak to our governments, within parliament on very specific areas under agri-food systems such as nutrition, health, trade, and many, many other issues under agriculture.
The success of these initiatives hinges on translating commitments into action while increasing agricultural budgets for climate adaptations and value chains, and strengthening of regional coordination and empowering members of parliament to domesticate policies and engage ambassadors in harmonizing cross-border efforts. With the Kampala Declaration, the FSRP and the new working group as engines, IGAD and its partners reaffirmed their commitment to climate-smart, inclusive and resilient food systems for the region.
Thank you very much. My name is
And away from matters of food security, the Sagana Industrial Park is taking shape with the construction of County Aggregation and Industrial Park and Special Economic Zones now at 85% completion. Kirinyaga Governor Anne Waiguru says the setting and construction of warehouses and cold rooms in other infrastructure will be able to ensure that a lot goes on well for the county.
Momentum Momentum is building in Kirinyaga as the Sagana Industrial Park edges closer to completion, with major infrastructure nearing final touches. Governor Anne Waiguru led an inspection tour of the site, underscoring the project's transformative potential for local industries and livelihoods. Speaking during a project inspection tour at the site, Waiguru noted that investors shortlisted to set up factories at the industrial park are ready to go once all the infrastructure at the facility is in place.
As we speak, we have over 18 investors waiting to come and set up their factories here, and we are looking forward as a Kirinyaga County in the next couple of months to get this place going as an industrial center.
Waiguru stated that one warehouse is at 95%, while the others at around 80%, only awaiting floor casting and wall finishes, adding that the county has committed funds to build 2 additional warehouses to expand the park's capacity.
These warehouses on the behind me are about 95% complete, whereas the ones in front of me are about 80 or so percent. They're just waiting to cast the floors, and then they finish with the walls. And then we had added from our own county resources 2 more warehouses so as we expand this area.
She also added that the facility is also in the process of getting the necessary amenities like water, road network, security and electricity connection, noting that the park will be the first climate-smart agro-industrial city in the central region, promoting agro-processing and manufacturing, and will be a source of employment to many of the county residents.
We had an impromptu inspection tour of both the KIPES project and the dikes in our SCZ, and the dikes that we're building to prevent flooding. And from what we have seen, we are still moving a little bit behind schedule, but way ahead of, I guess, many other places.
The inspection tour also included ongoing flood mitigation efforts through the construction of dikes to protect the park from seasonal flooding. Pesi Achola, KUTV, Nairobi.
And still within the central region, Nyeri County Public Service Vehicles operators have come to an agreement to postpone the planned relocation of matatus to the new Muthoni Kirima Bus Park to the 5th of August this year.
Nyeri Governor Dr. Mutahi Kahiga and public service vehicle operators have reached a consensus to postpone the planned relocation of matatus to the new Muthoni Kirima Bus Park to August 5th, 2025. The move aims to facilitate a smooth and peaceful transition process. Kahiga emphasized the importance of a non-distributive transition, revealing that a 22-member committee comprising both county officials and Matatu stakeholders will be formed to guide the relocation strategy.
We have appointed a committee of 17 from cutting across. They will be joined by about 5 of my team to make around 22, 23. They are going to have their first meeting tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. to discuss and deliberate on the relocation of matatus and all transport sector to the new bus stage, the Field Marshal Muthoni Kirima bus stage. This must be the rallying call that transition, relocation must be peaceful.
Operators pledged cooperation with the county, welcoming the inclusion of hawkers and short-distance transporters in future discussions. Initially scheduled for November 2024, the relocation was delayed after 8 Matatu SACCOs filed a court case opposing the move, citing inadequate public participation and claims of discrimination. Peter Ndirangu, Chairman Nyena SACCO, also emphasized that operators will fully support and peacefully work together with the governor for improvement in Nyeri County.
Tulikubaliana na tukasema Nyeri ni asisi sote, na watu wa Nyeri ni watu wanapenda amani. Tunaona kila biashara ya town inaenda pamoja, ikiwa ni maduka, ikiwa ni mabuchari na nini. Kwa hivyo tunataka kitu ambaye mtu wote anaona hajafinyiliwa. Kwa hivyo hata governor leo alituambia hata yeye ako na haja na wananchi wa Nyeri, na lakini tufanye kazi pamoja.
PSV operators, many of whom have operated in Nyeri CBD for more than 50 years, expressed concern that the relocation to the 600 million ultra-modern terminus might hurt the customer flow. However, with court backing and renewed dialogue, both sides are now focused on a collaborative rollout that safeguards livelihoods while upgrading urban transport infrastructure.
And now in the international scene, US President Donald Trump may skip the November G20 summit in South Africa over policy disputes. This even as Canada plans to recognize Palestine at the United Nations. In Nigeria, humanitarian cuts are risking millions and could empower Boko Haram militants. Let's get more on this on our global news wrap.
President Donald Trump said on Tuesday that he might skip the upcoming Group of 20 Leaders Summit in November held in South Africa. He expressed disapproval of South African policies, which is why he is considering not attending. Instead of going himself, Trump suggested that he might send someone else to represent the United States at the summit. At the same time, former U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris announced that she will not run for California governor, ending speculation about her candidacy. Harris, who is a Democrat and a 2020 presidential candidate, said she deeply considered running because she loves California and its people. However, after careful reflection, she decided against it by stepping back from the gubernatorial race. Elsewhere, Canada plans to recognize the state of Palestine at the United Nations meeting in September, announced by Prime Minister Mark Carney on Wednesday. This decision follows similar moves by France and Britain, increasing pressure on Israel amid growing starvation in Gaza, condemning Israel for allowing this catastrophe to unfold. The recognition aims to address the urgent situation and push for peace in the region. In northeastern Nigeria, drastic cuts to humanitarian aid threatens the livelihood of millions of people. The UN's World Food Programme, once supporting thousands, has completely run out of funds as of this year. Trust Mlambo warns that these cuts could empower Boko Haram, a deadly militant group notorious for kidnapping over 200 schoolgirls in Chibok. Glory Kadhure, KUTV, Nairobi.
Thank you, Glory Kadhure, for that global tour. Now we are going to steer away from matters of politics and the chaos that is involved to something more civilized. The animal farm. Yes, the animal farm, where political herders are ever grazing and the butcher never sleeps. Brace yourself, by the way.
Welcome to the animal farm, by the way.
The cow that gives you milk, you must look after it.
Hatutakuwa na maneno mingi.
Where every beast is equal. Though some are clearly more equal than others.
Nowadays, we even have mattresses so that they are able to sleep well.
Now, despite the inevitable trip to the butcher's shop,
wale wengine unaona kwa runinga kila jioni wakiongea vile umesikia ni wenye hawana mifugo.
The cattle remain strangely unbothered. No terror in their eyes, just a view of protests.
We have even gone a notch further. We play for them country music, Ken Rogers and Don Williams, so that they continue producing the milk.
Everyone considered him the coward of the county.
Mambo ya kututenganisha.
It's a smooth life before dinner.
Mesema ya kwamba hii maziwa tunataka pesa ifikie mkulima.
Especially when you are the dinner.
You don't shout at the cow, it will refuse to give you milk.
Tulitafuta hii serikali, hatutatoka sasa tuingie msituni na serikali ni yetu. Kanatea.
Na hiyo kazi sio sisi tumefanya.
But hey, I'm just observing, by the way. Unity, they say.
We are with you because we know we're on the right side.
Towards an avatar of progress.
Yes, I made promises.
Hatujaingia kwa harusi hii na serikali ili kusaliti wa Kenya.
Ukiwa impeached, huwezi simama kiti hata chairman wakati.
After all, a happy cow means a happy farmer.
Na sio, unajua iko fitina mingi. Wacha niwaambie.
Now let's talk education.
We don't have the capacity as at now to finance free primary,
free secondary. And I will explain to you.
Free primary and secondary education inaendelea katika taifa letu la Kenya. Ndio sababu tumeajiri walimu zaidi.
The syllabus was really picking up.
And I want to speak to the media, and I want you to get me clearly about capitation to schools. This is what I said, and this is what I'm repeating.
Especially when it came to learning the ABCs of political loyalty.
Na akisema left tunaenda wapi? Na akisema right tunaenda wapi? Na akisema fire tunafanya nini?
Excellency, do not get tired of working. Kuna story mingi huko nje.
Parents are not supposed to pay fees, and we are not going to allow parents to pay fees. We will make money available to support them. That is what I said.
And of course, qualifications soared.
The government is finding it difficult to finance each child at 22,000, in junior school at 15,000, and in primary at 1,400, because we have other competing needs for funds.
The ones came in hotter than a late-night IEBC press release.
Not speaking in a funeral, I was not speaking in a political rally. I was speaking to policy makers. I was speaking to members of parliament.
All right, let's get ready to listen.
Ati ulikuwa nasema ati tukuvumilie, tukupatie muda, tukuvumilie. Tungependa sana kukuvumilia, lakini ile mambo unafanya hatuwezi.
Carefully, or at least pretend to.
My time will come and I will go.
Sabina's joy was creating ripples.
Nani nataka kuuliza hapa na munishike vizuri. Mtu anasikianga utamu saa zile yuko ndani ama nje.
It is none of my business. Someone had milked his sacred cow.
Mimi nataka muniambie tu.
Without
Huyu mama akiwa kwa kitandani si unalala kabisa Utaamuka kesho ingine sio?
permission.
Ama tulikufanya rais, tunaweza kufanya raia.
Harun.
Watu lugha chafu. Tunafundisha watoto wetu tabia mbaya.
By the way,
sisi si wajinga, and these people are not boarding.
We are now safely in the sporting arena, where with just 2 days to the Chan 2024 Games, Kenya was able to receive DRC Congo's national team, Les Leopards, who will face Harambee Stars on Sunday. Now, Sports Cabinet Secretary Salim Mvurya affirmed that Kenya's full preparedness to host the Continental Tournament, calling it a historic legacy for the nation. During his inspection of the Nyayo and Kasarani stadiums today, Mvurya expressed satisfaction with ongoing preparations. He confirmed that several teams have already arrived and all signs indicate the country is ready for the successful host of the prestigious event, which marks a major milestone in Kenya's sporting history. And now to matters of compulsory testing, where the World Athletics Governing Body has announced that all female athletes, including Faith Kipyegon, Beatrice Chebet, and Shakari Richardson, will be subjected to mandatory testing to determine their gender before the World Championships kick off in September in Tokyo to ensure equality. The move, wherever, was received with a lot of criticism from athletic stakeholders, claiming that it targets women and could cause discrimination against female athletes. 42 minutes past the top of the hour, and that's how we wave goodbye to the month of July right here on the Thursday edition of the KUTV Prime Time News. A big gratitude to the whole team involved in the production of tonight's production, led by my producer Anyango Sylvia, who has ensured everything is going in a way that is appreciated greatly. Together with the team, she was commanding through the day. From me, Emmanuel Kutosi, and on sign language interpretation, Samuel Kelo, it's good night. Stay safe. See you tomorrow.
Mtazamaji popote ulipo